How many times this week have you ended the day thinking, oh, I wish I would have done better? I wish I would have used my potential a lot more. Well, I want to share an idea that within a few weeks will lead you to never have this feeling ever again. And within a few months, move you ahead in a way you could not possibly ever imagine. And it's called the winner effect. So, the winner effect I first came across in a video by Leon Hendricks, which is called This Idea Makes You Unstoppable. And I thought, yeah, one of those other clickbaity titles. And I clicked on it. And I remember him opening up with saying, like, hey, do you feel like you're winning and you keep on winning? Or do you feel like you're losing and you keep on losing? And I thought, somewhere in the middle, maybe. But he shared that there's a so-called winner effect scientifically, where if you win, you're more likely to win again. And if you lose, you're more likely to lose again. And you see this in rats, you can see this in crabs, you can even see this in sports people. Some people just win, they win a soccer match, and then they win the other game again. And what he shared is that the fascinating thing about this power of momentum, that the power that you win and you win more often, and you notice you played beer pong before or something where you played well, and then the next time you played even better. This power of momentum and the winner effect is entirely based on your own perception. What it means, if a day feels like a win, it's more likely that the next day will feel like a win and actually be a win. And if you feel like a day is a loss, it's more likely that the next day will be a loss. So if you have those days every so often, I wish I would have done so much more, I wish I would have used my potential, well, there you go. That's what's holding you back. So when I heard this concept, I thought, okay, how can I apply this? And I don't remember if this was an idea in the video, or I came up with it myself. So sorry, Leon, in case I stole your idea. And either way, I'm just sharing it with the world because I think it can have a tremendous effect on how motivated you are and how you move ahead. So what I did is that instead of every single evening where I kind of tracked what I'm grateful about and I tracked what what I want to do the next day, better goals the next day, I first wrote down every single thing that I consider a win. Like, I woke up and I meditated. I went for a walk. I made a healthy food choice for breakfast. I talked to my girlfriend, had a great conversation. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. And I was shocked to see that in a day that felt like a disappointment, I actually had a list of like 20 to 30 things. And the day felt like a tremendous win suddenly. And remember, the power of you winning the next day, the power of you moving ahead the next day, is not if you actually won, but if you perceived it as a win. If you thought that you won tremendously, the next day you're more likely to win again. So it's not some woo-woo like hype yourself up. It's more like seeing the greatness that you actually had in this day. And I want you to pause for a second and think about what are some wins you already had today. Because I'm sure if you think for just a minute, you're able to come up with at least 20 things, even if you watch this thing in the morning. And you're like, oh, this morning was a big win. I clicked on this video. After 3 minutes, I'm still engaged. I have a new insight. I actually listened to the guy and I paused the video. There you go. So doing this, after a week, I started seeing everything I did and my motivation just picked up because I knew, hey, I'm doing awesome. Like, I'm actually doing great. I just didn't see it. Now I do. So just try it for 7 days. At the end of the day, journal in a WhatsApp app or whatever, and just write down the wins you had. And come back to this video in a week and tell me how it went. And I don't know, this is a new channel, but I'm sure if this video gets picked up by the algorithm somehow, by you, I don't know, just by some blessing, because this idea should be heard more often, I'm sure there will be so many wins in the comments about this because it's so powerful. Now, if you do this so what I did this essentially for 3 to 4 months. And at some point, I forgot about it because in no week whatsoever did I ever feel like, oh, this day or this week especially was a loss. And I even was able to slow down. I took more days off and I didn't pull myself down because of it. Because how many times do you then have a day that you chill a little bit and you just have a good time and then you feel awful for a week? I didn't have this anymore and I stopped doing the win counting because I knew, hey, if I start looking, I'm sure to find a ton of things. So that's the first idea, is to count your wins at the end of the day. And I kind of went on a little bit about it, but I think this is so powerful. So hopefully this stuck around, and maybe you're back after a week watching me again. The second idea of how you can apply this is a little bit more in, less so in the everyday, but more when you do something like where you feel a little bit anxious, you did something big. So for example, I'm a presentation skills trainer, and I mainly focus on this. Here I just share my wisdom that I picked up on, or that I found wisdom at least. So if people give a presentation, many times what they do is that at the end of it, they're like, oh, I could have done this better, I could have done this better, I could have done this better. Do you see the pattern? If you keep doing this, you're more likely to lose again, according to the winner effect. And obviously, how are you going to feel confident in anything, even presentations, when you first are pulling yourself down? So I coined something I call the 3+1 technique, where after a big presentation, you first, or big training, or a big something that you did, and you feel a little bit unsure, you pause and you first count 3 things you did well. In a presentation, like let's take this video. I just went off the cuff. Something I did well, I think I launched into a story. I'm actually finally talking like a friend because I'm not scripting and it's not performance-based. I just want to share something. And I had those moments of, hey, like a flow. So I did those 3 things well. If I could do one thing better, I think the first point I could have been a bit more clear. You see, you can apply this to everything you do, 3 things that you did well and 1 thing to improve, which make it feel like a win, so you're more likely to win the next time. And you still focus on the thing you want to improve, right? The 1 thing. And when I give a training, I gave a training in Porto last week. Last week, it's Monday. So at the first half day, I only allow people to count their wins first, because if you're shaking out of nervousness, you know that you shouldn't be shaking, but it's like the nervousness. So I only allowed them to count the wins. And on the second half of the day, then I also start asking what to do better. So apply this 3+1 rule, not just in presentations, but if you do something where you're a bit like, I'm not sure if I did the best, maybe a work for a client or a YouTube video, or you know for your own life that there's something, pause and first count the wins in that specific situation. Now, I'm sure there's a third reason, but my bullet point stopped there. So let me think. So we apply it on a day-to-day basis until we see the days at a win. We apply this on like a project basis, which means that the third way to apply this as a friend. Because how many times do you see your friends pulling themselves down, criticizing, and you are saying, no, don't worry, you're doing great. Like, would you buy it? No. But what you can do instead is to like do it with them, like the 3+1 technique, or just counting their wins and saying, hey, stop. Like, forget about it. Like, what are some things you're doing well already? Okay. What's 1 thing? Okay, good. What else? What else? And you be this a little bit annoying friend where after a while they're going to realize, oh, actually I did well. And they see it themselves instead of you telling them. And I do a version of this with my girlfriend, but at the end of whenever she feels like complainy, I say 10. And then we start going down from the list of gratitude. So she says 10, I start, okay, 10. I'm grateful I'm filming this video off the cuff. And then she goes, 9, I'm grateful that I woke up early today. And then I go 8, I'm grateful for this. And this is a cool process where you really support each other, because you start to see the blessings in your life and the wins in your life. And if you combine those 2, A, you're going to be fulfilled, and B, as Leon Hendricks promised in his video, you'll be unstoppable.